Welcome back to the community of We with Dr. B. For those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, welcome to the community. I am Dr. Barclay. The community knows me as Dr. B. For the last couple of weeks and the weeks to come, I am discussing grief. If you look at some of my other videos, you're going to see that I've already discussed shock and disbelief. I've already discussed denial, and today I am going to be discussing anger. Now, anger is something that we all experience, especially in grief. We don't know what to do with these feelings. They come rushing in like a wind, and we don't know how to navigate through that. And sometimes in this phase of anger, we react. I call it the reactivity place. But we don't have to do that in this space, especially being grief-stricken. We don't have to hurt because as we all know, hurt people hurt people. In the realm of anger, there is anger that is not good, and then there's healthy anger. I'm going to talk a little bit about the anger that's not good for us, psychologically or emotionally or physically. When any of us are experiencing anger, every part of our body feels that, from the top of our heads to the very soles of our feet, because our heart rate raises, our blood pressure raises, our adrenaline is rushing from every area. Our muscles are ready to get into the space of fighting or flighting. We don't want to stay in that space. Can you imagine all of these things are happening within our body? The increase of our heart rate, the increase of our blood pressure, the adrenaline that's rushing to our muscles, everything that we are perspiring, everything is on heightened awareness. But that's the good thing about it, awareness. Now that leads me right into the healthy anger. I just wanted to jump in there and just help you to understand a little bit of what happens in our body when we are in the realm of anger. That doesn't help us, really. So, again, I'm going to go right into the healthy anger. When we are experiencing anger under the auspices of grief, one of the good things is that we get an opportunity to observe and to experience without this angry feelings overwhelming us and causing us to react. For Dr. Stephen Covey once said, there is stimulus and there's response. And right within that space gives us the freedom to choose. Now that stimulus is anger. We all experience it. We all will experience it. Even without grief, anger is prevalent. But what do we do in that space? And the response is what we want the outcome to be. Because if we react, we begin to hurt those. We either find the courage to say what we feel, or we say things to hurt to get them off of our back. We don't want to do that, because in both aspects of that, hurt is the outcome. We don't want, because we're already experiencing that. And so when we are observing and experiencing these feelings of anger without it overwhelming us, without us reacting to it, and we are in that space between stimulus and response where we can choose the outcome, that's when we begin to recognize. We begin to recognize and explore our feelings. We are exploring our feelings. We are exploring our emotions. We are exploring everything about what we are experiencing in that moment and in that space and in this stage of anger. It gives us that space to, okay, what's going on with me? Yes, I am so angry. I am so overwhelmed. I cannot believe this is happening. I cannot believe this. I am so angry that they left me, and in the manner in which they left me. Why did they leave me? Why did this have to happen? All of these things, and it infuses anger in us. But also, we want to remember not to react, as I've stated a few minutes ago. We want to recognize and explore these feelings and go right into the inward core of our being and explore and be present. You're going to hear me say it week to week, to be present in where we are and what we are experiencing and what we're feeling. Be present. Explore that core, the inner being of our soul, of what we are feeling in this angry stage. It's so important that in us recognizing and understanding and exploring our feelings in the core, that we give ourselves permission to experience self-compassion. Give yourself permission to experience self-compassion. Because when we give ourselves permission to experience self-compassion, the level of resilience begins to form. And that resilience is necessary when we're angry, because even though these angry feelings are necessary in the grieving process, we don't have to hurt those that are around us, and we don't have to hurt ourselves. But we're giving ourselves permission to have compassion where we are, and to bring some understanding in the anger that we're feeling based on the reality of what's happening in our world. It gives us that permission to say, okay, this is why I'm angry, and be able to channel that anger in a healthy manner. And again, the resilience is necessary for the remaining stages of grief. And in this anger, as we are experiencing, give ourselves permission to experience self-compassion, and that level of resilience begins to form. It gives us the strength not to completely stand, but to begin to stand. It gives us the strength to do that. And that's important. That's important as we navigate through the rest of the stages of grief. It's important that resilience will help us through so many areas in our life, especially in anger and not being able to stay there. Because we don't want to stay stuck in this stage of anger, because it hurts us in the long run. It hurts us physically, it hurts us psychologically, and it hurts those that are around us that love us. And so again, it's so important that we give ourselves permission to experience self-compassion, because again, that is when that level of resilience begins to form. And guess what? In that realm of resilience forming, that's when strength begins to grow under grief. And that strength is necessary. The resilience is necessary in being able to go through the rest of the stages. As I come to a close, I wanted you all to understand just a little bit about the anger stage of grief and what it does to us if we choose to be after the stimulus is presented, which is anger, and within that space that we have to explore what we're going to do, the outcome is either going to be a reaction or response. Let it be the response. Let it be, and work through observing, work through exploring, work through experiencing without it overwhelming us, without it putting us in a place where we are reacting. No, we want to respond. Get to the very core of your being, the inward parts of your soul, and explore that. Be present, be present, be present, be present. It is so important. Community, I look forward to you joining me next week as I go right into the next stage of grief, which is bargaining. I look forward to seeing you. Join me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember also, as we come to a close, continue to build communities of unity on purpose. I'll see you next week. Be well, in peace, and stay healthy.